As we watch the George Zimmerman trial play out, we have something very innovative for you. It's an interactive map. All you have to do is go to HLNTV.com and we lay out for you the 7 key points leading up to the killing of Trayvon Martin. Again, the question, murder or self-defense. All you have to do is click on each one. There we've clicked on number 1, and that's where it begins. It's a reenactment, a nighttime view of George Zimmerman's path. And as you watch this, keep in mind, the orange, that's George Zimmerman's path leading up to the confrontation. The blue, that's Trayvon Martin's path, his final steps before that deadly confrontation at point number 7. And we're going to walk you through it. Points 1 through 7. These points could decide the case. Now let's go to key point number 2. This is where Trayvon Martin enters the scene. And again, the blue, that is Trayvon Martin's paths. And you can go, as you click on number 2, and you can see a reenactment of his final steps. What do you have at the end of the day? He's at the 7-Eleven. You see the picture here. He ends up with the soft drink and the Skittles. And that's one of the headlines why we're here today. How does a 17-year-old kid armed with only Skittles and a soft drink end up dead? But that's what they're deciding in a court of law. Was it self-defense? That's George Zimmerman's contention. Or was it murder? Key point number 2, again, that's where Trayvon Martin enters the scene. Let's move on now to key point number 3. Again, all you have to do is just push that 3 button, and it just pushes you right up to the next point. That is George Zimmerman's calls to police. You go there. You can hear his calls yourself. Again, our friends at HLN After Dark, not only do you get to listen to them, but you get to hear some analysis as well as he makes those 911 calls.
Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Let's go on to key scene, key point number 4, and it's George Zimmerman in his own words. And that's what you have a lot of here. That's what they're going over in court. Whether it's the 911 calls, George Zimmerman's reenactment as he's telling police, as he's in an interrogation room, all of that there for you as we continue to go. 1, 2, 3, and number 4. We move on as we click number 5. And it's George Zimmerman, lie detector test results. And you take a look at this, even this picture right here, it's George Zimmerman explaining himself. One of the key points that goes against him was he following Trayvon Martin. The prosecution says he profiled, followed, and murdered the 17-year-old. George Zimmerman's contention is no, that he got out of his car. He wasn't following. He's just trying to find a street sign so he can tell police where to meet him. That's his contention. One point that works in George Zimmerman's favor, he has injuries. They're clear here. There's blood on the back of his head, and we've seen other pictures where he has a nose injury as well. That's key point number 5. You can hear more about lie detector test results. Good point for George Zimmerman. They say he told the truth. Let's move on to key point number 6. Again, all you have to do, click on that button and you're on to the next point, and this is a huge point of contention in this case. The 911 calls. Who is screaming for help? All you have to do, again, go to point number 6, you hit play right here, and you can hear those calls one more time, and that's what we're listening to. Witness testimony. Some believe it's George Zimmerman yelling for help. Others believe it's Trayvon Martin yelling for help. Who wins that argument? That could decide the case. Huge ramifications on all that. That's what we have for you there, point number 6. Let's move on now to point number 7. The key confrontation at the place really referred to in this case as the T, as we hit number 7. And what you find there, George Zimmerman reenacts the shooting few days after the killing. There's a picture of George Zimmerman. You hit that play button, you're going to get the 15 minutes of George Zimmerman pretty much in his own words. But number 7 is the key point. That's where Trayvon Martin was killed. We want to take you upstairs. We have a recreation of that scene, the T as it's called in this case. So let's go upstairs and check it out, get you a further look as you make your own conclusions. Again, you hit that number 7 on our interactive map at HLNTV.com, and it's going to take you right here to the infamous T. This is where the confrontation went down, and it turned deadly. We know that between George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. And as you hit that number 7, you're going to hear George Zimmerman's version of events. It's 15 minutes long, and it very well could be what we're going to hear in court. We know what he has to say, that Trayvon Martin was the aggressor. George Zimmerman is standing there, and he's just trying to figure out what's going on with Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin says, "You got a problem?" Zimmerman says, "No." Looks up. Trayvon Martin punches him in the face, and so it goes. Again, you can listen for yourself. George Zimmerman's version of events. On the other side, we know the prosecution's theme, that George Zimmerman profiled, followed, and murdered this unarmed teenager. Murder or self-defense? That's what's at the core of this case. And again, we have it all there for you. The 7 key places that really could decide this case, 1 through 7, and number 7. Really where this event culminated, and it's where this trial could culminate as well. Go there, check it out for yourself, the interactive map at HLNTV.com.